What up, YouTube? This is Steven Talbot. This is Talby Rex. So today we're going to talk about Batman v Superman. Batman v Superman came out March 24th today, and I got to watch it a couple hours ago at 7:15 at Sundance. And so I saw Batman v Superman, and so I kind of want to give you my reactions, what I thought about Batman v Superman. Is it good? Is it watchable? Kind of going throughout, the pros and cons of Batman v Superman, and kind of give you my kind of in-depth opinion about it. So, kind of going into the main questions. Like, first, is it good? Is it a good film? Like, honestly, I am kind of mixed. I am drawn in between. I would say, like, honestly, it's a good film. Like, it's all right. It's good. It's good enough. It's not great. It's not like shoot to the moon type film, but it is like good enough. Like, it gets what if you're looking for you're looking for a Batman film, a Superman film, which like during the theaters I was like, I actually really want to watch Batman, and so like it's what you want. Like, and I think kind of going into like the second question, is it watchable? I think yes. I think honestly, for instance, without instance, it is a watchable, totally watchable film. Like, honestly, you could probably definitely watch that. I can watch that a couple more times. Just because how good some of the scenes are, and just how amazing. It's not like totally amazing, but it's good enough. And so, kind of nailing those two questions, like kind of going into like what did I like? What did I like about this film? Honestly, I really like Batman. Like, I like Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck did an awesome, amazing job. I think honestly he made the entire film. I can't I think you can pretty much say that. Like, honestly, like if you look at Ben Affleck's performance, he's what you want in Bruce Wayne. Like, for every instance of Bruce Wayne, like I cannot think of a better Bruce Wayne. Like, I think he's definitely better than Christopher Nolan's Bruce Wayne in a sense, in a lot of sense. I can't wait to see him grow into that character more and more, and because I really do want to see a standalone Batman film with Ben Affleck, and it'll be interesting to see what he does with also Justice League in terms of Batman. I think I think he definitely is one of the stars of this film for sure. So he's good. I think the other things to say that's really good is pretty much Batman's Bruce Wayne's relationship with Alfred. I think that's a really good relationship to like. I think honestly the relationships do really well in this film. Like, honestly, you really do like Lois Lane and Clark Kent's love relationship, and you also like the relationship between Alfred and Bruce Wayne. Kind of what gets those two characters going. And so I really like that in terms of that film. I think also what to really like about this film is kind of the emotional side of this film. I really like kind of like you could definitely see these both characters kind of deal with identity in a lot of the matter. Like, Bruce Wayne is this very old Batman. He's been in the business for about 20 years or so, and he's seen everything. Like, there's like a scene where you see a bat like a rot where he may have lost Robin to the Joker or something like that. So he's been through a lot, and it's interesting why. I think it's one of the reasons why we don't see him drop into the bat suit very quickly. Like, honestly, you see that one scene with him initially, but then you don't see Batman, like him dressed up as Batman, until almost really later in the film, and it's really interesting to see that. And then I think also you see Superman deal with his identity, like how he should like kind of, is he the source of good, the absolute good, or stuff like that? Is he always good and stuff like that? And I think it's really cool to see that relationship build, especially with him and Lois, and then even probably his mom to a sense. And I think it's really interesting to watch that. And so those are kind of the most likable things in terms of that. I think where we have problems, where it's kind of in between, is kind of the plot. The plot's mixed. It's hard. I think where a lot of people come through this film is like kind of the intentions of the entire, like what is Lex Luthor's true intentions of this, like what is his aim? Because like what's interesting about Lex Luthor, and I think what's really, if you watch the comics, you watch on Lex Luthor, he always has like this goal. Like, you always see that. And I think honestly, this is a very different take of Lex Luthor. I think that's kind of the negatives why people may not like this Lex Luthor, is he's pretty much crazy. He almost plays a Joker-esque type Lex Luthor, which is very interesting. But I think he plays it absolutely well. I think Jesse Eisenberg did a really good job with this Lex Luthor. I think he's a very, you definitely really want to hate this villain, which is one of the hardest things with villains is there's definitely where Superman, like where superhero films fall short, is if you don't really like that villain. I think, like, honestly, I hated Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor more than I hated Zod, for instance. And so I think he did an alright job, but it was interesting kind of like, what is his intentions? And I think that's where you kind of had hangups. Is kind of the plot of this film. Like, I think a lot of it was stretched, kind of like how much Batman hated Superman. That was kind of like shallow to a degree, and I think that's where I think it's kind of meh. Like, if you really want to say it, that's kind of where I really stand. And like, the plot is like, it's all right. It could be better, but I think honestly, I understand. Like, it's a superhero film. Like I was talking to my dad earlier. Like, honestly, these superhero films don't have they come from comic books. That's what you got to honestly take from the day. Like, comic books are not like a great piece of work. Some are. Some can be regarded as that, but they're, at the end of the day, it's still superheroes mashing up together. And I think that's what we got in this film. And that's what we can take from that film. And I think that is kind of the interesting part. I think my rough parts of this film, I kind of don't like the forced introduction. I think they were kind of pushing the Justice League to a sense, like in terms of like Wonder Woman. I like Wonder Woman as a whole. Like, I like her part in that film, but you could definitely tell they're kind of pushing it, and because they really want to kind of move forward with a Justice League kind of after this film. But I do think, like, honestly, this film could be a lot better. Is honestly if they took away the Justice League altogether. I think it may be more interesting. Although you won't have some of the bang shots. I think some of the better shots, better action scenes is with Wonder Woman. And so it's kind of iffy. I think also kind of the 4 shots of like the Aquaman, the Flash, these different characters, the Cyborg. Like, there was a scene where you see Wonder Woman going through the different clips. I think it's kind of cool showing that. But honestly, it's a less needed type thing. I would rather have built it more in the Justice League, just not here, or done that. I would have either made that kind of the last scene. Like, a lot of people waited after the film, and there was no final scene. There wasn't like a Marvel type thing, and so they did no final scene. I would have had that as the final, like the last thing that you saw is she going through all the different characters. I think that would have been a cool like add-on scene. But instead, it was more pushed onto the movie. And so we had that problem. I think the last kind of my biggest gripe is kind of the dreams. I like the beginning with the dreams of him dreaming. And I think it does a great job of storytelling, like the Batman story in the beginning. But I think the other dreams are not that great. And they're kind of like, they set it's kind of hard to figure out where they belong in the movie. Like, for instance, there was where Bruce Wayne goes to the grave of his parents, and then there was blood coming out, and then you see the Man-Bat. Like, why does that need to be there? Then there was other times of this entire like apocalypse type thing. I think that's all right, but it's like, why do you need to put that there? I think some of the dream sequences definitely, like, honestly, if I had to remake this film, take out the dream sequences. Until an honest origin story of Batman, and then also take out pretty much the Wonder Woman stuff, and I think you would have a more cohesive story. But that's what we got. And it's kind of, I think honestly at the end of the day, it was DC trying to start a DC universe, and that's kind of the problem of this film. But overall, it's a good film. Like, it's definitely really watchable. Like, honestly, if you're a superhero film, you're gonna like this film. I think at the end of the day, especially if you liked Man of Steel. I think Man of Steel, for what it's worth, I think it's a better film than the people took away. And it's going to be interesting to see what kind of at the end of the day what critics think about this film, because honestly, it's going to be a very much house divided type film. I think right now we already see like the Rotten Tomatoes is like there's been a lot of controversy with like it's at 30%, and then the overall people really like it, and so it's kind of a very mixed. I think it's definitely a movie where it's like it's interesting. I think one other interesting takeaway is the fact that they kill Superman. I forgot that's probably the biggest spoilers of all things is the fact that they killed Superman, and so what do they do with that? It will be interesting to see that. Although I think it makes for more interesting superhero films. Why not kill one of your major characters and do something creative? I'll be interested to see where they, does Superman come back? Although that's one of the biggest, hardest parts about Superman is just him. How do you write for him? How do you do that? It may make it more cohesive just to leave you keep Superman out for right now. But I think there's definitely room for him to come back. And so it's interesting. Guys, I got my Toby thoughts right now. My Toby questions. Where do you rank this movie in terms of a Batman movie, in terms of a Superman movie? In terms of, for me, like how I rank this film, I think I still say Dark Knight Rises, and then I would actually put this film probably third in terms of like current films, and then Begins fourth. That's kind of where I say, where do you kind of rank these films? Kind of give me a ranking or so. What do you think about this film? Do you like this film? Tell me if you're a DC fan, like what do you really thought about this film? Please, thank you for listening to this conversation. Because I know it's kind of controversial and it's going to be really interesting to see kind of people's opinions. Thank you for watching. I hope you like this video. Subscribe to this channel if you have not. I hope you like this channel, like this video and all that. And I hope you have a good day. All right, bye.